This week, with Lesson 6, you will be completing your first essay exam. Your essay exam should be somewhere in the range of 3 to 4 pages in length. It needs to be double spaced. And also, please make sure that you compose this either in Microsoft Word using a .doc or .docx format, or if you don't have access to Word, you can use another word processing software provided that you save your file as a .rtf, rich text format. So for this assignment, there's a couple other key things that you need to keep in mind, as really you'll find is the case with any of your submissions for this course. One quick reminder that's important is that if you do use outside sources, please make sure that you provide appropriate citations. Our course discusses the concept of plagiarism, what this means, and what this looks like in the course syllabus. So please make certain that you adhere to these guidelines, cite your information appropriately, and if you have any questions, of course, please contact me and feel free to ask. Also, take the time to proofread your paper. Make sure that it's free of any syntax or grammar errors. If you have any questions about this, again, you can also refer to the OWL, the online writing laboratory, which is available through Rio Salato. So there are lots of resources available to you to help you develop an effective and well-written paper. And again, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. So for this assignment, you have a couple of choices. You have two options that you can choose from in terms of what you're going to actually write your essay about. So the first of these two options involves choosing two exceptional buildings and discussing these and comparing and contrasting them. Your second option involves looking specifically at the Athenian Acropolis in detail. So let's take a moment here and talk about option one. So the first option, as I just mentioned, is to choose two of the exceptional buildings listed and talk about these and give some specific analysis. The first of these here is the Greek Parthenon located on the Acropolis. The next of these is the pyramids located on the Giza Plateau in Egypt. Next we have the Roman Pantheon. And finally, the Hagia Sophia located in Istanbul. All four of these are really tremendous examples of architecture. Now, I don't want to give away too much in terms of really who these were built by and when they were built. That should be part of your research and part of your analysis. But I would like to remind you to make certain that when you're comparing and contrasting these structures, pay attention to things like what period they were created during, pay attention to key architectural features and innovations, pay attention to things like the site in which they are located. For example, are these standalone objects or are they part of a larger complex? Pay attention to the function of these structures. There's quite a few key areas which really bear fruitful discussion here and which you really should be looking into and exploring as you do your analysis. Located within your lesson, farther along here in the web page, you will also find some more specific questions that will help you to guide your analysis and your discussion of these artworks. Now, as for option 2, if you choose to do option number 2, you are going to be looking in detail at the Athenian Acropolis. So this is another tremendous site that we can look at and discuss. And here's a few images. This is an aerial view of the Acropolis, what it looks like at the present. And you can see that it is in the majority here really a ruin. Not a lot of the Athenian Acropolis really survives in its original condition. And this may be an interesting part of your discussion too, looking carefully at the current state of some of these structures. This is a model which represents what it may have looked like during the classical period. And there are also some really important key structures which you will observe on the Acropolis itself. And don't forget to discuss these individually. Here we have the Temple of Athena Nike. Here we have the Parthenon and the Erechtheion. And all of these serve different and important functions. So make sure that in your analysis you look carefully at these structures and pay close attention to who the patron is, who the architects are, and look carefully at the sculptural ensemble of these structures. Here's an example here from the Parthenon. And this is important. When you're talking about these buildings, even though currently much of the sculptural decoration is disassociated from the site, it's still quite relevant to our understanding of how these buildings function and why they are as important as they are. So again, these are some key things for you to look at and discuss. Please take the time to look carefully over your lesson for this chapter. Look at the guiding questions, which will help you in developing your essay. You will also find towards the end of the chapter a rubric, which will help you in terms of how you'll be evaluated for this particular assignment in terms of your content and your form, your use of specific illustrations and examples, clear and well-developed opinions, and of course your writing. Make sure that again you use appropriate punctuation, spelling, sentence